Hey everybody, it's Mira. I'm back. So the last video was getting a little bit long, so I'm kind of going to do this in two parts. As I stated at the end of my previous video, all of my contact information, my Fetlife, my email address, whatever, will be in the description box below. Feel free to message me, ask questions, comment. Again, if you have anything negative to say, keep it to yourself. No one has time for negative BS. We have better things to do with our life. So, as I stated before, I've been owned by my master for 4.5 years now. Um, when we actually first got together, I was attempting to be more vanilla. It didn't work out. I cannot suppress my slave side no matter how hard I try. I am too submissive by nature. Um, and I'm actually the one that introduced him into the lifestyle. He had never even considered BDSM or gore before we got together. I introduced him to it all, and he just flourished with it. He's a natural dominant. He's a natural master, and it's been great. It's been one heck of a journey the last 4.5 years. I will tell you that much. Um, we when I did my videos before, we were living in a house, and actually now we're in a really old RV. Um, we're working on paying off some debt that we got into trying to help some family. Um, so we're living in this old, crappy RV for now while we pull things together. It's been great though, having more privacy. Um, One thing I do want to say, I don't have a whole lot of advice for any Kajira, slaves, submissives, whatever, with children. I have not really had children around. I personally cannot have children, and Master knows that. He's okay with it. So it's not something I've had to worry about. My adopted son, he's only 2 years old, and I only have him for short periods of time. So, I don't have a lot of advice for anyone with children, unfortunately. Um, I don't believe in hiding things from your children, but I do believe that you need to bring it down to their level. Um, they don't need to know everything, but don't keep them from everything either. That's just my opinion. That's how I've been with my nieces, my nephews, and my adopted son. My adopted son actually loves to pull on this. Ironically, my adopted son is my best friend and my ex-master's little boy. We're all still really close, as I had commented in my last video. So, with this video, since I spent the last one explaining so much about what I've been through, kind of what led me to this point, I figured I would go through and explain a little bit more in detail of what my daily life is actually like. Um, so my master and I kind of mix BDSM with gore because, as I've said previously, technically, because we're here on Earth, right? This is reality. Um, we can't live we can't safely or legally live the way that we would were this actually gore, um or the Counter Earth. I really recommend checking out the books, guys. They really are a great read. Even if you're not interested in the lifestyle, the books are amazing. Anyway, so we mix BDSM and gore. So we actually just recently sat down and wrote out a slave contract, which is something I have never done before. And it wound up being about 12 pages long, written by hand. You guys, my hand was killing me, but we don't have a printer. Um, so the only way we could have the contract in physically and to sign it and everything was for me to write it out by hand. It took me 2 days because I had other stuff I had to do. And we actually went through and set some rules that we haven't before. My master's trying to crack down with me because I do better mentally and emotionally when I have more structure. And our lifestyle has kind of slacked because of his work schedule and how far we live away from his work and whatnot. But we're now trying to crack down on it more. So, Master has decided to help me lose weight because I've been trying to, but I get lazy, and I'm actually trying to work on my self-discipline more, and he's helping me with that. So I have set things I have to do during the day. Today I got dishes done. I started picking up the living room area of the RV. I did some laundry the other day. My days blur together, you guys. I'm sorry. I think it was yesterday. Or something like that. I got some laundry done. I do whatever I can to make life easier on my master. Now, because I am so short and the way the RV is built, there's some stuff that I can't do by myself. There's a lot of dishes I can't put away by myself. I have to have master put them away. But he's okay with that. As long as I'm trying and I'm doing everything I can, he's happy. And that's my goal in life. My goal in life is to make him happy, and making him happy, by extension, makes me happy. If I follow the rules, I get rewarded. If I break the rules, I get punished. The punishments could be anything from being whipped, which we actually have a whip that I handmade with my sister because she's crafty as hell, and I'm not. I am not creative. I am not crafty. My sister actually helped me make a traditional Gorian whip, and it has been used on me. So punishments will range anywhere from not being allowed to get on IMVU because I still roleplay on there, to being whipped or not being allowed to do certain things. It kind of depends on what mood my master's in. But he's pretty lenient and pretty understanding. If I don't do something and there's a legitimate reason, 9 times out of 10 I won't be in trouble for it. But if I just do something because I don't feel like doing it, then I'm probably going to be in trouble. The reason I say we mix BDSM and gore is because in gore, there wasn't really, and I haven't read all the books. Like I said, I'm not by any means, like, I do not know everything. I am still learning. But as far as I know, there weren't things like being tied up just because it's playtime, as Master and I put it, or private time. There wasn't anything kinky about the sex, really. In gore, you don't really find slaves that enjoy pain. If pain is in the picture, it's as a punishment. And as a Kajira, and from what I've read and whatnot, as many of the books as I've read, that's not taken lightly. On gore, in the books on gore, it was life or death. If you screwed up bad enough, you could be killed or sold. Now, this is Earth. I've been with my master for 4.5 years, so I pretty much know how to make him happy. But Should he, for any reason, decide that I'm not meeting his needs, I'm not doing my job, if he really wanted to, he could leave me. I don't foresee that happening. We've been through a lot together, but he could. So I always do my best, and I treat it like the worst case scenario. A lot of the times, when he gets disappointed in me, it tears me apart. So every day I have things to do. I'm expected to read a certain amount per day, at least 1 hour a day. I'm expected to read. I have writing assignments that I have to do occasionally. I have my chores that I have to keep up on. I have to take care of the dog. Um, Whatever Master needs me to do, I do it. I'm in charge, well, I wouldn't say in charge of finances, but I do finances and pay our bills, so Master doesn't have to worry about it when he gets home from a long day at work. If I slack and I don't pay bills, I'm in big trouble. I've never had that happen. I've never paid a bill late or anything, thankfully. But if it did, I could be in big trouble because that will affect him from that day forward. You know, he'll have a late payment notice on his credit for the credit cards or whatever. I don't spend money without asking him. Um, I do not, he approves my clothing. I do not own anything that he has not bought for me. Everything I own, he has bought for me, aside from a couple family heirlooms. My clothes, my collar, all of my medical stuff that has come up, the bed that I sleep on, everything has been bought by him. The only thing at all that is in my name is this RV, and that's because we thought we were going to have to file bankruptcy, and with everything being in his name, we didn't want to lose the RV being, you know, we need a place to live. It's old, it's crappy, it's not worth anything, but we didn't want to risk it. So the RV is in my name, but as far as I'm concerned, it's his. He owns it. End of story. He owns me, he owns everything. And I'm okay with that. I went into this lifestyle and this relationship completely willingly. I was not coerced, I was not forced into it. This is what makes me happy, and I know quite a few others who are just as lost as I am if they don't have someone to serve. Now I am what's called an unrestricted red silk. What that means is, okay, a red silk, first of all, is a term used in gore meaning you're not a virgin. You've had sex, you've been opened by men, as it's so crudely put, in the Counter Earth books. A white silk would be just the opposite, a virgin. You think white, you think innocence, pretty easy to remember. Unrestricted means we have some friends that are also in the lifestyle, and if they decide that they want to use me for pleasure, then they can. This is not to be confused with rape or abuse, okay? This was talked about between me and my master before it was decided, and it gets reevaluated constantly to see whether or not I can mentally and physically handle it. If I still want that, do I hate it, whatever. And he is very picky about who is actually allowed to touch me. So do not confuse this with an abusive relationship. I have never been happier in my life than I am with my master. He is amazing. Okay? So please don't confuse that. I am not in an abusive relationship. I am not being trafficked. Nothing like that. We have basically an open poly relationship. Okay? He has seen other girls that were Kajira as well, or submissive in some nature. that were my chain sisters. I loved it. I had no problem with it. We have a poly relationship. Okay, so not abusive by any means. Um, I don't know what more to say right now. I've already done a half hour total between the two videos. I will be posting at least one more video this week. I'm going to try to do 1 to 2 videos a week. As before, all of my contact information will be in the description box below. That will include my email and my Fetlife. Feel free to add me. Keep in mind, I am happily owned. Okay, I'm collared. I'm married to my master. I am not looking for a dom. But if you want to learn more, if you have questions for me, whether you are a free or a slave or a pet or whatever, feel free to message me and ask. Again, keep negative comments to yourself. I know I'm a bigger girl. I don't care. I am comfortable in my body, and I have seen women much bigger than me that are gorgeous as hell. So size does not matter. So if you have anything rude to say, keep it to yourself. No one has time for negativity. On that same note, I do appreciate criticism. If you feel like I have said something wrong, let me know. You know, don't be afraid to say, hey, I disagree with you on this or whatever. Let's have a conversation. If you don't like my videos, tell me why. But don't just be rude and disrespectful about it, because that's not okay. I may be a Kajira, I may be a slave, but I'm still a person. My master does oversee this channel. He does oversee my Fetlife and all of that. So just keep that in mind. On that note, I hope everyone has a wonderful evening or morning, whatever time of day you're watching this. I hope that you're doing well, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye.